welcome back to the next Shiur in our Gemara Sukkah class. This is class 5 on Daf Gimel Amud Aleph 3a. So the Gemara says statement. Omer Rav Shmuel by Yitzchak. Rav Shmuel by Yitzchak said, Halacha, the halacha is tzricha, that's necessary, shetehei machazekes, that it can contain roishai, his head, the rubai, and his majority, the shulchanai, and his table. Amalei Rabbi Abba, so Rabbi Abba said to him, Kaman Beis Shammai. Like who? Like Beis Shammai? Amalei, he said to him, Elo Kaman, rather like who? Ikata Omri, there are those that say, Omer Rabbi Abba said to Omer Lachamani, that he said to you who? Who said it to you? Amalei, so we said back to him, Beis Shammai it is Beis Shammai, v'lo tazuz mino, and do not move from it. Maskif lo Rav Nachman bar Yitzchak. Rav Nachman bar Yitzchak asked a very strong question about it. Mimai, from what? The Beis Shammai or Beis Hillel, that it's Beis Shammai and Beis Hillel, Sukkah Katana Pligi, in a small Sukkah, do they argue? Dilma, perhaps, Sukkah Gedoyla, in a big Sukkah Pligi, they argue. Ukagoin, and for example, De Yosef Apuma de Matulusa, that he sits at the entrance of the Sukkah. V'shulchanoi, and his table b'soich habayis, is inside the house. To Beis Shammai Sovri, that the Academy of Shammai, Beis Shammai, hold Gazrinon, we decree Shema, perhaps Yimoshech, he will be drawn achar, after Shulchanoi, his table, or Beis Hillel Sovri, and Beis Hillel hold Loi Gazrinon, we do not decree. V'deikanami, and it is precise also, dikatoni, for it states, Mi shahaya, the one who was roishai v'rubai, his head and his majority, basukah, in a sukkah, v'shulchanoi, and his table, b'soich habayis, was inside the house. Beis Shammai poislin, Beis Shammai say it is invalidate it, Beis Hillel machshirim, and Beis Hillel make it kosher. Ve'im isa, and if it is machzekes ve'ena machzekes miboilei, means ve'im isa means that if you ascribe to what you just said, if that's the case we said before, im isa, if it is the case, machazekes ve'ena machzekes miboilei, machazekes, it contains and it cannot contain miboile, it is necessary to have said. Ubasukkah katana loy pligi, and with the sukkah katana they don't argue. Vasanya b'shorli, we learned in the brisa, machazekes roishay v'ruba v'shulchanoi, if it contains his head and his majority and his table, kashera, it's kosher. Rabbi says, add until sheyeheiba, that there is in it arba amos, 4 cubits, al arba amos on 4 by 4 cubits. V'tanya idach, and the other brisa stated, Rabbi says, kol sukkah, any sukkah she'ein ba, there's not in it arba amos al arba amos, 4 cubits by 4 cubits, pasula, is invalid. V'chachamim oimrim, and the sages said, afilu eine machazekes, even if it does not contain ella, only roishai, his head, v'rubai, and his majority, kashera, it is kosher. V'ilu, and regarding shulchanai, his table, loy katani, it does not state kashyan ahadodi, they are difficult one on the other. Ella, rather, lav, is it not? Shma mino, we could learn from here, Ha Beis Shammai, this one is the opinion of Beis Shammai. Ha Beis Hillel, this one's the opinion of Beis Hillel. Oma Mazutra, Mazutra says Masnisin, our Mishnah Nami Deka, is also precise midikatoni from the fact that it states Beis Shammai Poislin, Beis Shammai invalidate, or Beis Hillel Machshirim, and Beis Hillel make it kosher. Ve'im Isa, and if it's true what we said, if it is literally, it is true. Beis Shammai Oimrim Lo Yotza, Beis Shammai should say Lo Yotza, he has not discharged his obligation, he's not gone out literally. Or Beis Hillel Oimrim, and Beis Hillel say Yotza, he has discharged his obligation. Mibayale, it would be necessary for it to have said. Ve'ela, says the Gemara, Ve'ela Kasha Misha Haya. Rather, it is a question from the words Misha Haya. Misha Haya, the one who was. Answers the Gemara, La'olam, really, Batarati Pligi. In both do they argue. Pligi Besukkah, they argue with regards to a Sukkah, Katana, a small one. Or Pligi Besukkah Gedola, and they argue with a big Sukkah. V'chesure mechsura, and it's lacking a lack. V'hachi katani, and thus is how it is stated. Mi shahaya, the one who was roishai, his head, v'rubai, and his majority, basukkah, in a sukkah, v'shulchanai, and his table, b'soy chabayis, inside the house. Beis Shammai oimrim, Beis Shammai say, lo yotza, he has not discharged his obligation. Or Beis Hillel oimrim, and Beis Hillel say, yotza, he has discharged his obligation. V'she'ena machzekes, and when it's not able to contain, ella, only kedei, in order, roishai, his head, v'rubai, in order to contain roishai, his head, v'rubai, and his majority, bovad, alone. Beis Shammai poislin, Beis Shammai make it apostle, make it invalidated, or Beis Hillel machshirim, and Beis Hillel make it kosher. We're now going to go through the Gemara again, this time just analysing some key words which are the roots of the words and where they come from. Amar Rav Shmuel, so we'll go quickly, just talking about the things which are relevant to translation. Amar Rav Shmuel bar Yitzchak halachat tzricha shehet mechzekes roishav v'shulchanai. Sukkah is necessary for it to contain his head, his majority, and his table. Amalei Rabbi Abba Kaman. Who is this like? So man literally means a person, the one, a man. So Kaman, like who? Like which person? Beis Shammai, it's like Beis Shammai. Amalei said Ela Kaman. Rather, who must it be like? But of course, it's like Beis Shammai. Ikad Omri, there are those that say Amar Rabbi Abba said to Amar Chamani, that said to you who? That means who is the one that said it to you? Amalei said to him, Beis Shammai, it is Beis Shammai, v'loi tazuz mina. Zuz means to move. Loi tazuz, you shall not move mina from it. Min is obviously from. Maskif lo Rav Nachman Yitzchak. Rav Nachman Yitzchak, a very strong question. The word takif means powerful. It's one of the words you have to think about as the translation of the word Elikim, that God is takif, he is powerful. Same word. So Maskif, he asked a very strong, powerful question. Who was it? Rabbi Nachman Yitzchak. Memai, from what vantage point, what evidence do you have to say? So Memai means from what literally, but it means from which angle, from which piece of information do you have that says the Beis Shammai Beis Hillel B'Sukkah Katana Bligi, that Beis Shammai and Beis Hillel are arguing in a small sukkah. That's where they're arguing, in a katana, right? Dilma, perhaps B'Sukkah Gedola Bligi, they're arguing in a small sukkah, a big sukkah. Sorry. Ukegoyin, and for example, the Yasiv Apuma de Matalusa, that he is sitting. Yasiv is the same word as Yashiv or Yashav in Hebrew. The Tef and Shin interchange. Apuma, Pum is a mouth literally, so I mean the entrance to Matalusa. Matalusa is just Aramaic for sukkah. V'shulchana, in his table b'soich habayis, is inside the house. The Beis Shammai Sovri, that Beis Shammai hold. Gazrinon, we decree Shema Yimoshech Acha HaShulchana, he'll be drawn after his table. Or Beis Hillel Sovri, and Beis Hillel hold. Lo Gazrinon, we don't make such a decree. V'deika, and it is precise. The word daik is meduyak. Daika, dikduk, is the word for Hebrew grammar. Dikduk is the word to be precise. V'deika nami, and it's also precise. Dikatoni, because it is stated Misha Hoya, the one who was, past tense. Roishai, his head, v'rober, and his majority, basukkah, inside the sukkah, b'shulchanai, and his table, b'seicha b'ach, inside the house. Beis Shammai, Poislim Beis Shammai, invalidated Beis Hillel, Machshirin Beis Hillel, make it kosher. Ve'im Isa, and if Isa, is means there is. So if there is, it means there is truth to the statement that machzekes ve'ena machzekes mibai, that the question is whether it is able to contain. We had the word I think before. Machzekes chazak means strong. This means that which is able to contain easily. Ve'ena machzekes, and that which is not able to contain. Mibai Mibai means the lack, need, or want. In this case, it means or necessity. And mibayele in this case means mibayele. It should have said. It's necessary for it to have said. Ubasukkah gatana le pligi. So the Gemara asks a question, and in a small sukkah like pligi, they're not arguing. V'hasanya, but surely we've learnt in a brisa, very important word. Tanya means a brisa. Machzekes rishav robe v'shulchanoi kashera. If it's able to contain his head and his majority and his table, kasher is kosher. Rabbi said, at shehi arba amos al arba amos, until it has in it 4 amos by 4 amos. V'tanya idach, another brisa said. Rabbi says, kol sukkah she'in bo arba amos al arba amos. Any sukkah which has not got 4 by 4 amos, but still is invalid. V'chacham mo'imacham say afilu eino machzekes ve'elo rishav shulchanoi kashera. Even it doesn't contain. To only his head and his majority is kosher. Ve'ilu shulchanoi. Now ilu means even, right? We have ilu hoitziyanu mitzvayim, right? Ilu means even, but in this case it means ve'ilu shulchanoi. But with regards to his table, even his table, regards to his table, so I think ilu means in Aramaic would be means and however with regards to his table, loikatani does not state, and therefore kashyan ahadodi, it is difficult. The word kashyan is from the word kasheh, which is hard, difficult. Kashyan hadodi, they are difficult one to the other. Ahadodi, hadadi means the idea of means on, hadadi, each other. Ella, rather, lav, is it not shmami? No, we can infer from here, ha beis Shammai, ha beis Hillel. One is the opinion of Beis Shammai, one is the opinion of Beis Hillel. Oma Mazutra said, interesting, Mazutra means small, Zutra means small. His name was Marzutra, but it could mean Mr. Small. Masnise Nami Mishnah, Masnise Nami, our Mishnah also. Daika, again, same word, precise. Midigatoni, for it states Beis Shammai Poislim makes it invalid. Or Beis Hillel, Machshirin, Beis Hillel make it kosher. Ve'im Isa, and if it is the case that we said that Beis Shammai Omrim Lo Yotza, that means we said, if it's exactly the case we said before, then Beis Shammai Omrim Lo Yotza, or Beis Hillel Omrim Yotza Miboyele, that it should have said Beis Shammai say he's not discharged obligation. Beis Hillel says he has discharged obligation. Miboyele, it would have needed to be. Ve'ela kasha, and rather it's a question Misha Haya. The words of Misha Haya. La'olam, rather bitarity. We're talking about 2 cases. Pligi, they're arguing both cases. Pligi but sukkah katana, pligi but sukkah gedola. They're arguing in a small sukkah and they're arguing in a big sukkah. V'chesur mechsura, and it is lacking a lack. Chaser means a lack, so it's lacking a lack. V'hachi katani, this is what it's stating. Misha Haya, the one who was Roshai, his head, Meruba, and his majority, Basukkah and a sukkah, V'shulchanoi, and his table, Basoicha Bayis, inside the house, Beis Shammai, Imrein Beis Shammai, say, Lo Yotza, he's not discharged obligation, basically, Imrein Beis Shammai say, Yotza, he has discharged obligation. V'she'eino machazekes, and when it is not able to contain, Ella, only Kedei, in order to have inside there Roshai, his head, Veruba, in his table, Buad, alone, Beis Shammai Poislim, Beis Shammai make it invalid, or Beis Hillel Machshirin, Beis Hillel make it kosher.